least if you're live, like, I don't know, there's something to that. All right, guys, we're going to talk about chapter 11 and 12 today. And we'll do actually some actual translations to see how some of these concepts function. So yesterday I tried to sum up for you guys chapter 9 and 10. So that includes these two kind of annoying, boring pronouns, hick, hi, cock, which means this, or these in the plural, and it can be any case or gender. And we have illa, illa, illid, which is that or those in the plural, and it can be any case or gender. So a lot of the time they function kind of like adjectives, as in it just like goes next to a noun that it agrees with in case, number, and gender. But sometimes they'll be all by themselves, like you see hick there, where we would just say, okay, hick is masculine, so it'll be this man. Whereas illa, all by itself, not next to a feminine nominative singular, would just be that woman. We add the woman ourselves just in case there's like nothing else next to it that agrees. So that's hick, hi, cock, and I promise I'll give you guys a pronoun resource like handout, and I'll probably just like let you use it on translation quizzes for a little while. At least the 1.5 kids, maybe less so our OG 2.5. In chapter 10, you get fourth conjugation verbs. Just to review that, they're really easy because they're just the same as third conjugation. Their future tense ends differently. It's not bobis bit. It's like ace et, amos ace int. And we have the vocab. So, guys, the thing you really want to be focusing on this week is spending at least like 10 or 15 minutes every day between now and Friday looking at these three pages, which I posted. Because it is kind of a lot for 1.5 kids. You're definitely going to have to be studying a little more than 2.5, I guess, for this. But 2.5, a lot of these are really old and you haven't seen them in a while, so it could be hard for you too. And yeah, just make sure you spend some time on that because I will grade that quiz and I'd rather not have give retakes for it. Okay, chapter 11 is when we get these things called personal pronouns. So hic and illa are demonstrative pronouns. They kind of demonstrate something, as in like, this pencil I'm holding, or that literature, or whatever it is. Whereas personal pronouns like describe a person, right? And we have three categories of them: first, second, and third person. Just like our verbs are either first, second, or third, our pronouns are too. We don't have pronouns until chapter 11 because our pronouns are always built into our verb endings. We do have may and tay up until then, me and you, but they don't give us the rest of them until now. So ego is I. That one is, it really stands out. Think of ego. People have an ego. That's like how you think of yourself, I guess. Whereas mei is this genitive my. Mihi is dative, so it'll be two, maybe four, me. And then may can either be accusative or ablative, and that is technically something we've had since like chapter 2. And then the plural first person they look way different. So nos is we, nostrum is our, nobis can either be dative or ablative. So the dative and the ablative is the same. And the nos is can be we if it's the subject or us if it's the accusative. So looking at this, you just kind of see that in English, even though we don't decline nouns like normal nouns like in Latin, we do decline the heck out of our pronouns, right? Like that's all that's happening here is that we're seeing how we decline pronouns. We have like three cases in English, basically: the subject, possessive case, and object case. So anyway, second person is tu, tui, tibi, tete, vos, vestrum, vobis, vos, vobis. So they're kind of similar in the same way. This slide, I just am illustrating with the colors. I'm not using the colors that map onto my normal case color coding. It's just to show you which ones are repeating. So the accusative and ablatives are the same for singular first and second person, whereas the dative and ablative plural are the same. I'm getting a phone call, but I guess I'll ignore it. All right. And then there's third person, and these are like I feel like kids can get a grasp on these pretty easily. Not too tricky, some of these. But third person, that's another thing where like I'll have to print out on the same sheet that has your hic, hi, cock, and your illa, illa, illid these, because there's just so many of them. There is a lot of repetition, but it's I mean, it's just a lot. And they're weird words too, like is is he, ea is she, etc. Eus is this genitive. So eus, the genitive singular, that's the same for all genders, so that's good. The dative is just E and a long I. That's the same for all genders. And then the accusatives, and y'all can kind of ignore the neuter side. Just ignore that and like look at the masculine, feminine ones. If we look at accusative and ablative, those look like first and second declension. So that's kind of nice. It's really the genitive that's and the dative that's kind of weird. It's like a this new weird pronoun genitive ending and a third declension looking dative ending. And then the plural side is straight out of first and second declension. There's nothing about the plural side, actually, the bottom part, that is different than first and second declension. So that's good. Okay, that's chapter 11 in a nutshell. I think you guys can like hang out with those pronouns if I just give you a resource for it. I mean, I can give that to you digitally now and you can print it out for the homework you do next week and today. But I think if y'all just have that resource, all of this won't be this like arduous process for you to like have to like remember it in less than a week, because that'd be kind of impossible. So if you just have it written out somewhere, it should be okay. All right, in chapter 12, this is where we started with this class last fall. And I must have taught it a little quickly or something, because it took up until recently for 2.5 kids to get comfortable with these. And I think this review, honestly, is just as useful for them as it is for 1.5. So we've had 3 tenses: present, future, and imperfect. And now we get 3 more, and that is the perfect, pluperfect, and future perfect. So the important thing is that these are coming from the third principal part of a verb. So if you look at amo amare there, it's like it's coming from the third principal, or the third form there, amavi, where that V shows up. And then I've bolded the like normal perfect endings to the left, the bottom left. So, and we translate this as basically I verbed or I have verbed, which is roughly how we translated the imperfect. And I'll show you guys how those compare, the imperfect and perfect. But yeah, it's a lot of the endings are distinct, especially that first one. But third person singular, first person plural, they kind of just look like normal third or fourth conjugation present tense endings. And then pluperfect there, if you notice, those endings are the same imperfect forms of sum esse. And you use had verbed for pluperfect instead of has verbed, have or has verbed. Okay, so let's see. Oh, and there's future perfect. You guys will see a future perfect on your homework. So I think there's a third person plural future perfect and like number 4 or 5. So that'd be like they will have verbed. It's you want the use of helping verb will and have to translate the future perfect, but it's very rare. It doesn't show up too much. Perfect is going to be our new most common tense by far. Pluperfect shows up just a little less than perfect. And then we'll still see present, future, and imperfect from time to time. Any questions on any of that so far, guys? All right. How do you spot the perfect tense? You will hopefully recognize the verb vocabulary-wise, like meaning the first part of the word will like show you what the verb actually is. And then a lot of them have this V that shows up, especially in the first conjugation. So like laudo, laudare, laudavi, amo, amare, almavi. It would technically be like a silent V. But if you're seeing that V towards the ending of a verb, then that is like a big indicator that it's perfect tense, even if you haven't yet memorized those endings in the lower left at that point. If you see a letter like that in a verb that you're familiar with, and you don't usually see it, means it's perfect. The second bullet point, some third principal parts are totally different, like do, dare, dedi, datum. So a lot of verbs, their third principal part, it's kind of like something you'd expect. It looks a lot like the first 2 principal parts, but then there's some like do, dare here where it just has a crazy third principal part. And so I'm mentioning this one specifically because it is in your homework, which is due tonight. So I know, especially 1.5 kids and maybe some 2.5 would just be totally at a loss when they see this verb. I think it's like dead at rent. That might be the one that is third plural future perfect. Let's see. Lots of second conjugation get a U. So like debeo, deberi, debui. So if you're seeing that U, that is an indication it's perfect. And then some other ones in third, fourth, or really I think all of them, they get an X. So X, U, and V seem to be these consonances that show up towards the end of the stem of a perfect tense verb. Again, before I move on, that third principal part in the dictionary entry, amavi, that is the first singular perfect tense version of it. So that one specifically means I loved or verbed or have liked, whatever. And then you drop that I to kind of like show yourself what the stem of the word actually is, which in this case would be like AMAV. All right, kind of moving on. Oh yeah, so translating perfect versus imperfect. You can translate both of them as verbed. That's totally fine, actually. Um, so imperfect specifically is like was or were verbing, or even sometimes used to verb. And those are the bomb, spot, spont endings that are the same for all conjugations. Whereas perfect, you can use has or have, and has or have are technically the same verb. It's just we use has for what? Third person. So I have, you have, it has. And then on the plural side, we use have. But those are the same verb, but you don't even need to use them. You can if you want. There's instances where like it sounds nicer to use those. But like, just err on the side probably of translating verbs as verbed from now on. Unless you know it's present tense or future tense or pluperfect or future perfect. You can just use verbed. And that way if it's imperfect or perfect, you'd be right. Though they are very easy to distinguish, right? Their endings don't look anything alike. Okay, this is a chapter 12 vocabulary. We're going to do just a few spot translations real quick, and then we'll be done for today. What's hard on this? So this is not stuff that'll show up in your vocab quiz, but it'll show up in your homework tonight. So that's kind of hard. Y'all might see a mitto, a mitera, or just mitto, which is to send, or in this case, a mitto is send away. That's a verb at the bottom. What else? I think adolescent shows up. That just means a young person, like adolescent. You get some adverbs. Oh, you get a new preposition pro. It means in front of or behalf of. Okay, anyway. Hic totus liber multus locos literarum romanorum laudat. This is from chapter 9. So let's do one or two sentences from chapter 9, 10, and 11 so that when we check chapter 12 homework tomorrow, it's like a progression that we get to see. And we'll be all the way up near 15-ish by the end of next week, which is like numbers. So that's kind of cool. All right, so we have some vocab here. Locus is a word I might put on the vocab quiz on Friday. It usually means place, like location, but it can mean a passage of literature, which is very different. So, what's going on with these first three words? Well, they're actually all nominative, masculine, singular, so they all go together. So this just means like this whole book. This whole book. And then when I see multos locos, someone want to turn that mic on and tell me what case multos locos are? It's cool. What if I just stopped talking and like just waited for someone to? Is my mic is on though, right?
That's on. Would it be accusative?
Yeah, good. Those are accusative. Yeah, this whole book. So we don't know what to do with. It'll be many passages. I can just tell because locos is next to literarum. I wouldn't say many places of literature or whatever. But we don't know what to do with it. So our verb at the end is laudat. So this whole book praises many passages, and then literarum romanorum is genitive. So that'd be like many passages of Roman literatures. Kind of gave that away. But yeah, nothing weird there, right? Like translating hic in that case is like that's super easy. There's nothing to that. It's really just kind of a vocab issue at that point. If I go back to just looking at the chart, here it is kind of in its adjective mode where we didn't need to say this man because it's next to a noun, liber, and it's just going to go with liber. It's like this whole book. Whereas if totus liber weren't there, we would just have to kind of assume they were talking about a man and say this man. Okay, so that's like really easy, right? Chapter 9 seems easy. Here's one more for chapter 9 before we look at something from 10. He, igitur illis deabus eri gratias agebant. So he, hopefully you're scanning the Hickok chart right there. But actually, one of the weirder things about this has nothing to do with chapter 10, and that is this new verb from chapter 8, ago agora, which can mean act or like do or lead or pass or spend. It's like a weirdly diverse verb. But when its object is gratias, which is a vocab word I never recall them actually giving us, it means thanks. It's going to be give. But anyway, so somebody is giving thanks or somebody gave thanks. It's imperfect or where it was giving. But he, how do we translate he? It's right next to igitur, which just means therefore. And I don't think it's like doing anything with illis. So he, if we look at a chart, it's nominative plural masculine. So here, unlike with hic totus liber, it's not being like an adjective, it's being more like a noun all by itself. So that's why it's important to know the gender of these annoying hick, hike, hawk pronouns. Because in this case, we're going to translate that as these men. Uh, just because, like, he, if you look at the chart, that's like masculine, it's nominative plural. So you can just kind of add men in there. It's like implied. These men, therefore, were giving thanks. And then Illis Diabus. This is kind of hard. Diabus is already a weird ablative or dative plural of goddess. And then it's another leap for you to realize that Illis is going with it. They don't really look alike at all, but maybe something in your mind, looking at that long is and that weird abus ending, makes you think, oh, they could both be ablative or dative. And if I'm giving thanks, I'm probably giving thanks to somebody, so they're dative. But yeah, that's kind of hard. So Illis here would be those. Again, Hikkakak is this and these in the plural, whereas Illid is that or those if it's in the plural. So that takes a little while to kind of remember. All right, I don't know why I put chapter 9 vocab there. Oh, it's just all of them again. So let's look at one from chapter 10, and then we're almost done. Hic de senectuta scribebat illa de amora et alias de libertata. Oh yeah, am I recording this once? Well, it's too late now. All right. No, yeah, I think I hit record. So hic, once again, it's just going to be the subject all by itself. There's no masculine nominative singular next to it. So we're going to say this man. And what was this man doing? He was writing. Scribebat is good old imperfect, so he was writing, or he wrote, I guess is fine. He was writing de senectuta. Senectuta is a new vocab word that I might put on the quiz on Friday. It means old. Senectus means old age, like the concept of being old. So this man was writing about old age, where Illa, showing up there, De Amora, that man was writing about love. So was writing about is being kind of implied to be repeated, but we don't actually have to repeat it, just like it's not repeated in the Latin. And alias, this chapter 9 adjective means other, and another about liberty. So yeah, we just have a series of ablative objects of day, but we are using 2 of our new demonstratives and this weird adjective. Again, please stop me if you have any questions. We're almost done. Ui civitas ulos viros magni sapientiae audiet. What was new about this one? I guess olos is new. I'll probably click through. Audiet, though, that is a 4th conjugation verb, audeo, audire. Try not to get it mixed up with audeo, audere, to dare, because they're really close, right? But if you see an I in the ending, that probably means it's audeo, to hear, like audio. So when, and so that's future, because of the E, basically. If it was just audit, that would be present. But audiet, the E, just like 3rd conjugation in chapter 8, it makes it future. So when will we hear, or not when will we, when will the state, kiwitas there, it's just good old nominative. When will the state hear any, olos is this new adjective, any men of great wisdom, or virtue, oh, no, it's wisdom. Ignore that I put virtue. It is, in fact, wisdom. All right, I think I got one more. Eam ad eam, cum alio, agricola, metavant. So we have 3rd person personal pronouns here. These are nasty, but eam and eam there are both accusative. It looks like I have a dropped subject for our verb. This is also a newer verb for you guys. A lot of new words. Mito mitro means to send. This is 3rd plural imperfect, and I don't see a nominative plural anywhere. So how about they were sending, and what were they sending? Oh, I know, him to her with the other farmer. Again, alias is this new adjective that's showing up a lot, apparently. It means other, or sometimes another. But yeah, am and am are both accusative, but kind of for different reasons. The first one is like the actual direct object, where the second one is the object of ad. Because ad, that's something y'all got in chapter 8, but didn't see too much. Ad just means to, like you're going to a place. And said place would be accusative object. All right. I don't know why I'm. Oh, so those are some 3rd person personal pronouns. You guys have to get more practice with 1st and 2nd in coming weeks, but they're not too bad. And maybe I'll make a nice digital pronoun resource now. I kind of want to wait till 13 because unfortunately, guys, y'all are going to get even more pronouns in 13. But that's kind of the end. Well, yeah, once you get qui, qui, quad, you're kind of done with your pronouns. You get personal, demonstrative, and quick, quad. I don't think intensives are that bad. I'll just skip through this one. After work or his work. That's funny. I forgot to move his. After his work, we will give great thanks to him. That's another example of where ago agra takes gratias as a direct object. That's probably about it. So, okay. Good luck on these. Can I give you any hints? This is perfect. I forgot to mention that there is a handful of verbs where their perfect stem is no different than their present stem, but that macron alone makes it perfect, and that is a perfect ending. So it's like since those ... have come. Ooh, that one's hard. Good luck. All right, this one, that's dodare there. This one is this new verb to send. What is that one? I think that's from Disco Discora. Dang. Okay. So they're purposely giving you some verbs that they don't look anything like, or that they have a weird third principal part. But I believe that is from Disco Discora, to learn. So it'll be like they will have learned. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out tomorrow, guys. That's good on imperfect. Please drill these for a little while. This class only ran 22 minutes. I'm basically done now. Maybe take the next 8 minutes to just go over these. I posted them in the class. Does anybody have any questions? Oh, we have a decent turnout. Okay. I think we might have lost some people to the time change, but that's fine. All right. If no one has any questions, I will see you guys tomorrow to check the homework. And yeah, good luck with the rest of your e-learning.
See ya.